I'm Brian Welk, senior reporter with IndieWire, and we are here in the IndieWire Studio presented by Dropbox at Sundance 2025. Today I am here with the cast and crew from Sorry Baby. We have writer and director and star Eva Victor and cast Naomi, Ackie, and Lucas Hedges. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you.
That was an amazing speech.
That was
I would have
fire.
stumbled that up.
Yeah,
Did a great job.
I was nervous. So.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, you are doing that.
You can say my name.
Yeah,
Well, Eva, I mean, this is a fantastic film, and I got to understand, what made you want to make this your debut, and what drew you to the story?
Well, it's a really personal story, and it took me a while to figure out how to write it. And during COVID, everything around me sort of slowed down, and I, at the same time, kind of transitioned from doing comedy to falling in love with watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
And in COVID, like in this tiny apartment in New York, I was just like watching dramas that were so beautiful, and I kind of realized like I want to write something like this. And then I went to a cabin in Maine for a couple months, and I sort of by myself with my cat, and I just like feverishly wrote this piece. And then sent it to my producers, who are the producers now. It was definitely like, in a lot of ways, an attempt at putting myself through some sort of therapy. It's a story about healing, and I think in like some meta ways, writing it was an attempt at that, making it was an attempt at that. So it's a very like, it's a film about healing, and the making of the film is also, in a lot of ways, I'm learning its own meta form of healing. And also, I don't know, through healing comes like other challenges too, but it's not so linear, but yeah, that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, and I mean, this is such a, I went in cold to the movie, didn't really know anything about it, and, where it goes, and it's a very frank, thoughtful, sometimes really funny, uncomfortably funny movie about assault and about, again, healing, like you said, and its effect on kind of personalities and friendships and over time. I mean, how did you strike that right tone of having those funny moments like the jury scene, or versus these really intense moments?
The film is about this serious thing in some ways, but it's also really about the time afterwards and about a friendship that gets you through that. And there is like a lot of the film is about like trying to find joy, and that's what our characters are doing together in the film, and it's the main relationship of the film, and it really is about this friendship that can sort of save your life. So in that way, there is like a lot of joy in the film, and in terms of comedy, like we always like in comedy writing learned to punch up instead of punching down, and what that means in comedy, which everyone probably knows. But it's like you make fun of the people who are in authority or who have power and who are hurting other people, and you never make fun of the people who are going through the hard time or victims of something. So the film really does like punch up at the people who are evil or like boringly rude, and really protects the lives of the people who are doing their best. So that's where the comedy lives, I think, is more in the joy of the friendship and in making fun of the people who are cruel, but not at all at the expense of the characters who we love.
Well, let's talk about those characters.
Let's talk about them.
Naomi and Lucas, how did you each get involved in this? And I mean, Naomi, let's start with you, because the two of you have a great friendship. I could see it right now already. Where did you find this chemistry, and what drew you to this character in this part?
Yeah, like I was sent the script first.
Was I sent for sure.
I read it and I was like, for sure. And I was like, oh, this is really special, because it felt lived in. I think like the thing that I was really excited to explore was like friendship that's lived in for a really long time. Like the challenge there is like, how do you do that with someone that you don't know yet? And then we got on a call, and the call was really fun.
It was so fun. I was like, this is her.
It was really fun. And then we did a second chat, I feel like, and that was the kind of reading thing. And this is all like, I'm in London, you are in New York.
Who knows?
But this was on Zoom, and there was just such a lovely. There was also space for like improv there. There was space to really like fill out the role with who we are and how we interact. And so it just felt like this was going to be a environment where I could like explore that quiet performance that isn't about stretching out and changing exactly who you are, but really connecting with the people around you. That's what I say.
That's sick.
I just got sent the script and read it, and for me, usually like sometimes I read like 2 pages of a script and I'm like, or I read like a line of the character, I'm like, there's no chance, there's just no way, just because it doesn't fit. And this one, I was just like, I think I read it all in like one sitting. It was just like, I don't know, I was just, it just felt like we just like, me and the script just came together, and then the story is like not that crazy. It's just like, then we got on a Zoom and, but it was just like, I felt, this is what I felt about the script. I felt like it reminded me of things I loved, and at the same time felt like its own thing. Like it reminded me of certain films that are like really comforting for me and are almost like what I'm looking to be a part of. And yet, like, it felt innovative. It felt like you weren't trying to do those things. Like you weren't, you were just being, you were being really honest to yourself. You know what I mean? So
Best day ever.
This
is the best day ever.
Just gonna go from place to place, being like,
ask them more stuff.
I mean, speaking of being innovative, like the structure of this movie with the
So
time
cool.
jumping and kind of is really fascinating, and you get a great sense of the arc and of these characters' journeys in different ways. Talk about doing it that way, building out the film that way.
Totally. I mean, that was sort of something that really, really mattered to me before I wrote it, was the structure. I really wanted for the audience to meet the characters before you find out what's happened to them. So they sort of have this fighting chance at being people to you before you find out sort of what went down. And structurally, I wanted the film to make it clear that it's about the aftermath of a trauma. So I didn't want to make it linear. And I also think the film is about healing, as I said like 1,000 times, and healing does feel choppy, like time moves differently, and sometimes it's slow and sometimes it's like speedy and you don't remember anything. And I felt like showing this person 4 years afterwards first, well, there's like mystery to it. And I also wanted to show them, and they're like, I wanted it to be them first, so everyone knew what the film was about. I'm kind of like going on a million rants, but I'm having like an amazing time saying it all. That part was the thing that really mattered to me, and showing these like bits of different years and kind of having no rules about what kind of bits we're showing. Is it like one scene in a year? Is it like over the course of like 8 months? Like, because that's how it felt to me. How time moves, in my opinion, like after, in my experience of that.
This film has a beautiful ending, and what do you really hope people take away from this story?
It's hard to ask someone to take something away from a film, because the thing I've found so beautiful about film is like, it's so private what you glean from something. So I would never want to put into words, like, I don't want to force feed a reaction or like give anyone any ideas of how they should feel, because I think everything is valid. That being said, I made the film because I felt like I hadn't seen something that I would have needed in the time after I experienced this, about the time after. So much of what I experienced out there was like having to see violence, and that wasn't what I wanted to make or show or like put my body through or put anyone through. And so I hope that it can make someone feel less lonely, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. And if it's not the right time to see the film, that's okay too. But it's interesting, like this whole thing is talking about the film before people have seen it, and really, like, as a filmmaker, your dream is for someone to see the film.
Well, thank you all so much. It is a wonderful, powerful film.
Thank you.